Hi sewing friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Mary and I'm the person behind the Sewing Birdie. In today's sewing video I want to show you how to make a makeup bag. I have already made this kind of video and posted it a few months ago, and that video had quite a lot of attention. But today I want to show you a different way of how to draft the pattern and a different way of sewing and finishing the makeup bag. In my opinion, the pattern drafting method and the sewing process, it's a lot easier and quicker to make. Using my pattern drafting method, I have made my makeup bag in different sizes. This is an M size, a small, a large and a long one for the hairbrush. So you can use your own measurements to make your makeup bag in whichever size you want. I have turned this pattern into a digital one. So if you want to skip the pattern drafting step, you can purchase the pattern and start sewing right away all these sizes of the makeup bag. Also, I want to thank you for supporting my channel, so I will give you the makeup bag in size M pattern for free. So you can find also the link for the free pattern in the description box down below, and you can download it right now and start your sewing process. Now we can start with the sewing video. So I've made here a diagram of the pattern. I know there are a lot of colors and arrows, but I did this so you can understand and have a visual of what I'm explaining here, and trust me, it's quite easy. It's not that complicated. So let's start first with the final measurements of your makeup box. So let's say that you want your width, which is this one here, the purple color and the number 1. Let's say that you want to have 20 centimeters here. The green color, number 2, is the height of the makeup box. So depending on how high you want this to be, let's say I've put here, for example, 12 centimeters. And this is the depth. The red color, number 3, is the depth of the makeup box. So let's say you want here 10 centimeters. And now let's talk about the pattern, which is going to be this one, and this is how it should look. Let's start with this measurement here. And this measurement is half of your red color, the 3 measurement. So if I have here 10 centimeters, this will be 5 centimeters. And this one here again will be 5 centimeters. This one here will be 5 centimeters, and this one here will be 5 centimeters. This line here will be half of this line. This line is number 2, the height of the makeup box. And if I have here 12 centimeters, this will go with 6 centimeters. So this will be 6 centimeters, this one again 6, and this one, and this one, and this, and this. This line here is your height of the makeup box. So for me it's number 2, the green line, and this 12 centimeters. This line here will be the depth of your makeup box, the red line, number 3, and for me is 10 centimeters. And this one, this one, this one, this one is the same. From this line to this line corresponds with the color purple, the first one. So here I should have 20 centimeters in my case. Now if you want to calculate the dimensions of your rectangle, you can do it like so. Sum up this measurement 1 plus this measurement and this measurement, you'll have this measurement. If you want to figure out this measurement, simply sum up this line with this, with this, with this, and this, and it will give you this line here measurement.
Also, you will have to add a seam allowance to these sides here. Not this line or this line, but only to your sides. And you'll have to make a seam allowance. You'll have to add 1 centimeter or whichever seam allowance you want to use, because otherwise you will take from your measurements here and it will be a little smaller than you initially want. So do not forget to add your seam allowance to these sides. And this is the pattern. This is how you make this makeup box, and you can choose whichever measurements you want. You can make it longer, bigger or smaller. So now let's talk about the supplies that you need. First of all, as the main fabric, I will be using this cotton fabric. For the lining fabric, I will be using this satin fabric. Important to use a erasable pen. This is a heat erasable pen that I'm using, and it's important because you also have to erase somehow the lines after stitching, so this is important to use. You can use heat erasable, air erasable or washable pen. And now I will mark on the fabric the lines that I have. At the bottom part and also at the top part. And now what you simply have to do is to draw the lines. So I will keep on drawing all my lines. I have finished tracing all my lines and now I will stitch. I will quickly put some pins on my fabric to keep this in place with the wadding. And now let's stitch. When quilting, I found that if you use a longer stitch length, looks nicer. So I will set my stitch length to 4 and width to 4. When I reach the end of the line, I will simply lift the presser foot, pivot, stitch again, until I reach my second line, lift the presser foot, pivot and stitch on your next line. So I have finished stitching all the lines. And now let's press. All the pressing also will help setting the stitches and give a nice and smooth finish. So here it is after pressing. And now it's time to cut the pattern. So take your paper pattern and cut your paper pattern on your shape. Yeah, so this is how it should look. And now place your pattern on top of your fabric. And now I will trace the shape of my pattern to be more accurate when cutting. And now I can cut my pattern. So this is how it should look. And now let's move on and stitch the zipper. So you'll have to stitch the zipper to this edge here and this edge here. You'll need a longer zipper than your actual edge here, and this is because you'll need some edges to be able to stitch the zipper properly and have a room to stitch it. So I will cut my zipper here. And now place the zipper right sides to right sides of the fabric and stitch here one end. And then we'll go and stitch also this other end. So I'm using a normal zipper foot. And now let's pin also the other end of the zipper. Make sure you align your edges of the fabric properly. And now I can open the zipper. And stitch also this other end. And now take your lining and you'll have to place it right sides together, the top at the top. You'll see at the lining panel that you will have some notches at the bottom because the bottom is a little wider than the top, so make sure not to mix them up. And now you have to place this lining on top of your zipper, right sides together, and stitch again with the normal zipper foot on this line. And place also on the other side and stitch. And now it's time to make a top stitch here at the zipper, like so. Make sure that you will have your seam allowance, the lining, the zipper and the main fabric folded towards the wrong side of the main fabric, and you will make a top stitch and use your longest stitch length for this again. So this is how it should look. And now it's time to give this a press. So press the lining. And now it's time to insert the zipper pull before moving on to the next steps. So on your zipper pull you will have a flat end and this end here that is with two openings. And the zipper will go one side here and one side here. So pass one side and now pass the other side and then grab the two ends and simply pull and you're done. And now bring the lining panels right sides together at the bottom, pin them in place. And stitch so this end here and this end here. And now take the tab panel and fold it in half and stitch with 1 centimeter. So all done, this is stitched and I have also pressed it. And now we have to stitch these ends here. So first of all, arrange the main fabric. This is the lining. Place the lining on top and put some pins or clip this in place. And on the side with the zipper pull, Place your little tab here on the middle, and I will put a pin here to keep this in place. To make sure that I catch this tab, I will stick a little bit the ends of the tab outside, so make sure I will also sew over this. Your zipper is a little bit open, like so. You don't want to have it closed until here, but you will have to make sure you place it right next to each other, so don't put it like so. Make sure that you place as close to each other as possible. And if you want, you can also stitch first this layer and then go with the second layer of the lining and stitch. Or if you feel confident, you can stitch it all at once. So now stitch here and here. Now trim your ends of the zipper, and now we have to stitch all the 4 corners. And to do this, grab the main fabric first and arrange it like so. And put some clips here to keep it in place. The lining from here, bring it over this, and match it with your corner of the main fabric. For me it's a little bit tricky because the lining is very slippery, so if you are using a satin fabric, this will happen like so. And now stitch this together. And this is how it's looking. And of course you'll have to repeat the same steps for the other 3 corners. So now use the gap on the lining to turn it on the right side. And here it is. Let's arrange the corners. And now let's close this gap on the lining. And now either you can hand stitch it closed or using your sewing machine. And this is how it's looking. And the makeup box is ready.
And that's the end of this sewing video. Thank you so much if you stayed with me until the end. I really hope you enjoy watching it and that you have learned something new today. If you make the makeup bag, don't forget to tag me on Instagram using the sewing birdie. It always makes me so happy to see your projects. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye!